Hi, welcome to Games Web. My name is Mark. In this video, I'm going to take a look at this, but not the way you think I'm going to. Let's check it out. Okay, welcome back, folks. Right, as I said in the prologue, this is a look at the new Leagues of Votann Army set for Warhammer 40,000 from Games Workshop, but it's not what you think it is. Sure, it's a Games Workshop product, and I'm taking a look at it, but this is not going to be used for Warhammer 40,000. Going back many years, I've been a Space Dwarf player and collector. If you look on Games Web and you look on the YouTube channel, you'll see I've got videos and photos and articles on Space Dwarves and collecting Space Dwarves and stuff like that, because I've been collecting them for a long time. Going back right to, I'd say, about 1981, playing Laserburn with my best friend Jed in 15mm. I had Space Dwarf Army for a long time. Come forward 40 plus years, and we're now at the pinnacle of a dawn of a new era, really. Space Dwarves are back after a long absence from Games Workshop. That's good, but it's also not good, because there's a lot of purists out there who are not going to be very happy. The miniatures are brilliant, the rules I'm not too sure about. Okay, so let's jump in. Right, so we got brilliant artwork on the front cover. Now, unfortunately, due to Games Workshop's insane studio copyright thing, can't credit the artist because I don't know who the artists are, because they don't say anymore. But it does look very much like Karl Kapinski's artwork. Turn the box over. It's very heavy. Right, so there are Leagues of Votann. They are the Leagues of Votann. To face them in battle, to stand before an armoured avalanche that crushes all in its path. Oh, right, I'll start again. These are the Leagues of Votann. To face them in battle is to stand before an armoured avalanche that crushes all in its path. It is to be appraised and briskly dealt with by its attackers, who see you as little more than an obstruction. Right, I'm having real difficulty reading because I've got very poor eyesight at the moment. So let's just jump to the gist of the matter. The box contains the League of Votann limited edition codex, data cards, transfer sheets, token sheets, and includes 25 miniatures, which includes 20 Half-King Warriors, 3 Half-King Pioneers, Uthar the Destined, and an Ihir Champion. Right, as you can see from the back of the box, miniatures look absolutely amazing. Now, Games Workshop have there's no question in the matter that the Games Workshop produce quality products. There's absolutely no question about that at all. They are the premier games company on the planet for when it comes to miniature gaming, and it shows in the products. And at the prices it should be, really. Okay, so this is the back of the box. This artwork's continued on the inside of the box. Really like this. I like how they've got a female as a central character, which is quite cool. And I also like how they're keeping the old Norse style Viking dwarf theme going on, and a harken back to the old days of 40k 3rd edition and 2nd edition. Right, so the cover of the box is brilliant. It's just the same as the cover for the codex. Really nice artwork. Some Half-King Warriors and the Sagittor tank and what have you, and other guys. And then on the sides we've got the faction logos on both sides. It's the same on both sides. I'll get some photos and put them on because the box is too big for my table. So let's just jump in and see what we've got. On the inside of this box is another box in true time-honoured tradition. Now let's try and get this out without dropping everything on the floor. Okay, so what we have here is a massive pile of plastic sprues. We have some of these sprues can be assembled, well, they can all be assembled in multiple ways, but the characters can be assembled one of two ways for each of the characters. So this is the High champion. Great attention to detail, lots and lots of runic symbolry on the character. There is no quillers on any of these things, which is absolutely amazing, which is just what I really needed. The one thing that I don't like about the characters is this really strange grenade launcher type thing, the crest that goes over the heads. I think that looks absolutely dire. That's a really poor decision. So that's one of the characters. The second character is this one, and he's the what's it called? He's the actual champion himself. He's what's his name? Uthar the Destined, and he can be assembled in a couple of ways. As you can see, he's got 3 head options. Let me just have a quick look, see if we can focus on his heads. So he's got 3 head options. There we go. Nice, brilliant detail. You know, you can't expect anything less from Games Workshop, because these this is their bread and butter. This is what they make all their money with. We then get 2 identical sprues of the Hearthkin warriors. These are your basic foot troops. Again, lots and lots of different options on them. You can assemble them with a couple of different weapons. I'm not going to go into the details on the weapons and stuff like that, because I'll have a quick look through the rulebook and we can see what they've got. Lots of heads. So there's 10 models on 2 sprues, so like 5 models on each sprue, and there's lots and lots of head options, including quite a lot of female head options as well, which is great, because apparently the thingy guys don't care about sex. They're not bothered about that, and there's 2 identical sprues of those. Now I'm going to go too much in depth, because a lot of people have done far deeper unboxings than I have. Right, then we have another sprue of the this is the same sprue, I think it is, isn't it? 10, yeah. Another sprue, this is the same thing. These are the leaders, so you got the thralls, power sword and stuff like that. That's another frame. I just want to double check that those are the same. Yes, they're the same. So there's like 3 sprues the same, not 2 sprues, as I imagined originally. Okie dokie. And then finally we've got these the Pioneer quad trikes. They're very nice, really cool, and it's something that we've been wanting for a long while. There's 3 of these in the box set, and they're very nice. Finally, we get to what most people like. I mean, I prefer the miniatures, but we get to what people have been waiting for a long time. We get to the codex and stuff. So this is the slip that covers the codex. That comes, you can use this as a poster, and it's double-sided, because on the other side we have another nice picture of some Hearthkin looking more like Space Marines than anything else. And then we have our bases. We have a pack of data cards, which includes all the data cards for your faction. I'm not going to open those for a specific reason. We'll look at this in a second. And we also have this neat tray to keep everything in. We have a limited edition codex. It's only a limited edition because it's got a limited edition cover on it. We have our tokens, which are basically like the unit tokens and grudge tokens, which I'll explain in a moment. We have our assembly instructions for all our various models. And then finally, we have 2 sheets of identical decals, which look really cool, and I'm really looking forward to using those. I think the decals on this are probably some of the best that Workshop has done in a long time. They're very, very good. Okay, so I'm going to really quickly reset the camera, and we'll have a look through the codex. Okay, right, so we'll look through the instructions rather than the codex first. As recently been done with Games Workshop for the past 5 or 6 years, the instruction manuals tend to be full colour exploded diagrams rather than glue part A to glue part B that kind of stuff that they used to be. So now it's just basically pictorial to save them printing the instructions multiple times over on each model for each language, because they produce these in lots and lots of different languages. It's all colour coded, so you have a little lexicon at the bottom here which tells you what the symbols are and how to use the symbols, and the colour coded parts match each one. So you've got the basic body, but the colour coded options will show you where things go. It's quite self-explanatory. We have a breakdown of what comes in the box, so all the different sprues. So you've got 8 sprues altogether, which are the 2 character champions, the 3 lots of sprues for the bikes, and the 3 lots of sprues for the Half-King warriors. And then we have colour pictures of the actual figures themselves when they're assembled, which we'll go into in more detail in a minute. So the assembly is quite simple. We'll start off, we've got the champion, and he can be assembled in a couple of different ways. As you can see, he's got like different options, so the blue option, the green option, the yellow option, all these different things like that. Then we've got the so he's Uthar. Then we have the Hyonia champion. Then we have our Half-Guard Half-King warriors. Sorry, not Half-Guard, they're Half-King. I'll explain a Half-Guard in a moment. All the different options, different weapons that you can assemble them with. They all go together quite easily by the looks of things. And then we have our Pioneer jet bikes as well, our Half-King Pioneer jet bikes, and how they're going to be assembled. Now, I've only glanced very briefly at the sprues, so I'm not really too sure without before I actually start assembling them. You get 3 bikes. I'm not sure if you get 3 riders to go on the back. If so, you could make a 3 heavy option for your sprues, and imagine that you will get 1 on each, so you could do 3 that way, which if you can, I'm going to be doing mine like that. And then they've got all the assembly instructions on how to put them together and how they fit on the bases and stuff. Right, so fairly simple, fairly straightforward. Right, so we've got the ancestors are watching. I can't read that. Right. This idiom is both a reminder that the kin must always live up to their ancestors' expectations, and also reassurance that the ancestors live on in the families of the kin. It can be a battle cry, a warning, or a blessing. Sorry, I'm having real difficulty reading at the moment because my eyesight is really bad. Okay, so Leagues of Votann limited edition. Let's jump into it. So straight off the bat, we've got this Tortured Soul style artwork. I'm not exactly sure why it looks this way. It looks very reminiscent to artwork by John Blanche, but I don't think it is John Blanche. And then we go into our game itself. Right, so the Leagues of Votann, by the mysteries of the Crucible, they are given form and strength by molten fires and pounding pistons of the forge. They are armed and armoured by the Votann and the Fane. They are given wisdom and purpose, and by swearing the wrath of the hearth, they are filled with a fury to overcome any foe. Okay, so we got our table of contents, which includes Leagues of Votann, the showcase of the miniatures, the rules themselves, and the book comes in at 104 pages. And it also includes a reference glossary at the back as well. Okay, so this basically tells us a little bit of blurb about the Leagues of Votann and who they are. Right, so many years ago, Games Workshop had a race called the Space Dwarves, commonly known as squats, and for some reason, which I'm not going to go into too much detail, basically the figures weren't selling very well. The squats were canned about 1990. The plastic box set did come out about 89, but they weren't selling very well, so they were shelved. And they only appeared again very briefly in the 2000s as the Demiurge in Battle Fleet Gothic, and there'll be a reference to that in this in a little while. After that, other than that, Games Workshop haven't produced any Space Dwarf figures other than the odd limited edition figure for Necromunda and the White Dwarf Space Dwarf figure, which is probably about 25 years old now, maybe 20 years old. And more recently, they brought out the limited edition figure for Necromunda and the Ironhead Pioneers for Necromunda as well. Okay, so these are the Leagues of Votann. The artwork of the cover of the box, the amazing artwork from the back of the box that we saw when I opened it, and then this is the details of the League themselves. So originally the Squats were a race of humanoids who had evolved on planets with very, very high gravity, and as such have become endomorphs. So they're actually very small bodies, very powerful, very squat, and which is hence they got the name. They are muscular, strong. Because they were normally miners and worked with machinery, they tended to be very much like your fantasy dwarves in space. They made things. They were artisans as well. This is changing the background on this slightly. So we have all the characters or the models in the Leagues of Votann are kin. They aren't actually called squats, although sometimes they get known as or referred to as squats. The Ironhead squats that you get in Necromunda are not part of the Leagues of Votann. They're completely different, as far as I'm aware anyway. I've not read through the entire rule book completely. I've not really had a chance to actually read through all of it, but I've read through a fair chunk, and it does mention that there are squats around in society. Okay, so basically the squats have been shelved for 20 odd years. Where have they been? Well, the Leagues of Votann have been around for thousands and thousands of years, but have never bothered to get involved in the Imperium of Man's affairs and keep out of all the major conflicts. They're known by many names. One of the names that, as I said, is the Demiurge. The Demiurge was the name that was given to them by the Eldar, or the Eldari as they're now called. And basically, to cut a long story short, they keep to themselves, although they have got thousands and thousands of members to their society. They live more or less sheltered. They do trade with Xenos, they do trade with the Empire, but they do really not like, very much like the old squats, they don't like the Eldar very much, because the Eldar let the squats down, and they don't like orcs, they hate orcs, and they don't like chaos. Okay, so the origins and adaptations. So this tells us all about how the squats basically retreated into they've retreated the trade routes centre towards the core of the galaxy, because Earth is not in the core of the galaxy. Earth is further out. Earth is on the western spiral arm of the galaxy, or Terra I should say. So the squat own worlds, the League own worlds are more towards the core centre of the galactic core, which is far away from where all the big action kind of takes place. And we are introduced to the Votann. Now the Votann are not human or humanoid. The Votann is an artificial intelligence. They are a machine construct intelligence that is extremely advanced compared to the Imperium of Man. And as such, because the Votann and the kin, which is the name that the Space Dwarves gives to themselves, they use this intelligence hand in hand with the Votann, and Votann are considered squats are considered Votann. Kin are considered Votann are considered kin. The kin are not born, they are cloned. They're a generational clone race, which means that, the big clone plants produce a generation of clones. Whether they can reproduce or not, I don't know. I haven't read that far in the background, but I'm just having a quick look. So we've got Warzone, Ogvar, Seekers and Delvers, Galactic Harvesters. Right, so the kin are... right, so this is more details about the Galactic Core. I think Terra is up this way somewhere. I'm not sure, it might not be. So we've got lots of different guilds that all make up the League of Votann, which we'll look at in a second. Okay, right, so League territories, and then we have our leagues. So we've got the Great Arthurian League, we've got the Trans-Hyperion Alliance, the Kronos Homogeny, the Ymir Conglomerate, the Uranus Suitor Regulates, and then there's also myriad leagues. There's lots of smaller leagues, and there's also mention here of the Ironkin, which we'll see pictures of in a moment. The Ironkin are like robots that work side by side with the leagues. They are very commonplace. They act as helpers and advisors, and basically do a lot of the heavy lifting for the kin. Unlike humanity, they don't have a prejudice against AI, because most of humanity, AI is banned in the Imperium because of the problem with the Men of Iron, which goes back to before the age of the Emperor. But that's for another story. So we've got a couple of diagrams of the weapons and stuff like that, how they work. Now, there's a thing called STCs in Warhammer 40,000 Universe, which is standard template construction. These are blueprints that are used by various Imperial races and such to build weapons and what have you. But because all technology was like kind of shunned and banned, it ended up that the Imperium of Man stagnated and can't make anything without these STCs. Leagues of Votann have got thousands of these STCs, all pure STCs, which would be worth millions and millions of credits, or like sell them in to the Imperium for like the price of a planet for an STC, because they're so hard to get hold of. And then we've got the colours of the leagues here, which is the colour scheme. So you've got Great Arthurian League, which is like a whitish and green. We've got the Ymir Conglomerate, which is a ready one. We've got the Kronos Homogeny, which is another yellow one. We've got the Trans-Hyperion Alliance, which is orange, and then we've got the Uranus Suitor, which is green. And then a lot of these different lovely artwork, all the brilliant miniatures, really well painted. We've got Berserkers, which I don't like. We've got your Anya Halfguard, which are like elite guys. Champion, both versions of the champions and the way they can be assembled. Then we've got the Pioneer jet bikes, the Sagittar, and I'm not sure what the other one was called. I think it's on the next page. Yeah, the Sagittar is the smaller one, and then we've got a bigger tank, which is this one up here, which we'll come on to in a second. Then we've got a brilliant artwork here. There's the big tank, which I can't remember the name of it. Let's just go back and see if we can find what the name of it is. I can't find the name of it. Anyway, we'll find it because there's a picture of it later on. Okay, so that's the first 45 pages, which basically deal with the background for the models. Now I'm going to flip through the pages, but I'm not going to talk about the rules, and I'll explain why in a moment. Okay, so how to build your combat patrol and abilities for your detachments, the different leagues and what each league has. So each league has its own special rules. I'm not going to go into deep on these. Right, and you can make your own custom leagues, the stratagems and war gear that you can give to them. The Botanic Council, so you've got your High Carl, your Lord Grimnar, and your Brokir Forge Master. And then relics, these are Ironkin. Lifting up a bolter, there's another Ironkin there. all the different weapons and stuff. Skywrought Discipline, which is, I think that's like the Psycho abilities. Yeah, that's the Psycho abilities. Warlord traits. Chapter approved rules. Name generators, which is really cool. And as you can see, male and female names, which is brilliant. And then Crusade rules. We have this, I think, is for your Crusade Force. Yeah, it's your Crusade Force. And then I'm not sure what those are. They must be for the Crusade rules. Agendas, requisitions, battle traits. Again, more artwork. Crusade relics. And this is a Crusade army with this big tank here, which I'm really looking forward to getting when it comes out. Data sheets. And so we got our NEA champion Grimnar, who's the sorry, I got Uthar the Destroyer and Cal, the two characters, and then Grimnar, which is the Psychers, Brokia Iron Master, Halfkin Warrior, and then we have Halfkin Pioneers, or Hornkin Pioneers, a Sagittar, and then the big guy is Hecton Land Fortress. We've also got the version of Terminators, which is the Brock here, Thunderkin. And that is more or less it. We've got weapon profiles for each of the weapons, glossary, points value, and then on the back we've also got, if I can turn the page, a reference sheet, and then on the back there's also the Codex PDF code, which I'm not going to show you because I'm going to put that on my phone so I can read it when I get the chance. Okay, so that's a quick look through the actual box itself. But this isn't the reason why I'm doing the video. The reason why I'm doing the video is for something completely different. And as anybody who knows me or follows any of my videos will know that I actually do a lot of 3D printing. A heck of a lot of 3D printing. I've got 6 printers and most of them are on the go constantly. One of the things that I am printing at the moment is a Space Dwarf army. So this is actually using Fireflight Army Builder from Mantic Games. So I'll be absolutely honest, I don't like the Mantic miniatures for the dwarves. I don't like them at all. The vehicles are absolutely awesome, the tanks look brilliant, but I don't like the actual dwarves. So I 3D print my own, and as you will see in a moment, I've got lots of different dwarves from different companies, and these lovely models here, all these models like that are going to be part of my Space Dwarf army. But I'm not going to be using it for Firefight, although I may use some of them in Firefight. It's going to be used from one-page rules, Grimdark, because they've got a Space Dwarf army list in Grimdark. So that's what I'm going to use, and what I'm going to do now in the rest of the video, I'm going to show you some of my stuff and how the leagues are going to actually intermingle with them and give it more of a unique feel. So I'll be right back. Okay, welcome back, folks. Right, as I mentioned in the last part of the video, I'm going to be using my League of Votann box set with my Space Dwarf force for not only Warhammer 40,000, if I want to decide to play that, which I probably won't because I don't actually really like 40k. I'm going to be using it for Firefight. I'm going to use the models in Dead Zone, but more importantly, I'm going to use them. I can also use the models in what's it called? 5 Parsecs from Home and Stargrave, because they're miniature agnostic games. But mainly, I'm going to use it for one-page rules, Grimdark, which is a free-to-play game, and it's miniature agnostic, so you can use any miniatures you want. At the moment, as far as I'm aware, I could be wrong, but as far as I'm aware, one-page rules don't have any of the Space Dwarf range yet. They've got the rules for everything up on their website, and you can build your army using the free army generator, but they don't have the actual models. I think they're sometime next year along with the Space Elves, but I could be wrong. Okay, so this is part of my force. There's a lot more than this. I think I've probably got about 120 printed out miniatures at the moment, and just regular miniatures, and it's a mixture of different things. So we have a Forge Fathers Iron Ancestor, which is like a dreadnought type thing from Mantic Games. Also got a tank from Mantic Games for their Forge Fathers. Got a box of Forge Fathers that I need to assemble that are still quite tricky to assemble and get together because the plastic they're made out of. I've got this Forge Father tank, which is perfect, which is absolutely brilliant, and came with an extra turret with like an AA gun on top of it, which is cool. As you can see, it's still not painted yet because I've not had a chance to paint it up. Most of this has been done over the course of a weekend, maybe 3 painting sessions. My painting's not the best because my eyesight is poor, but I'll leave that to one side. We'll get straight into the thing. Right, so I've got 2 distinct parts of my units. So this is like using the Leagues of Votann, the different leagues that are in it, which was an idea that I had probably about 3 years ago when I first started printing. I wanted to do a Space Dwarf army that was made up of various factions, not just one generic Viking-looking Space Dwarf army. Okay, so where are we? Right, so we've got this faction here. They're going to be my Katichan type fighters. They're going to be the ones that stem from their kin stems from a jungle world. Now, these are, rather than calling them kin, my idea was to call them kith, which is another like kith and kin, family and home, and Hearthguard warriors as well, which is another one that I thought of. Right, so these 3 here are from they're all the same miniature. Those 2 are the same miniature, and this is the leader of that faction. They're taken from Cyberforge. They're 3D printed from Cyberforge. They're quite big compared to a regular Space Dwarf, if you actually pick one up. Right, so these are another. I'll leave links to all the Patreons and Kickstarter things and wherever you can get these models from as well down below. So this guy is from a Space Dwarf Kickstarter that came out about 2 years ago, but the models are available, and I think it's like $14 or something like that for the files, and you get about 8 or 9 different ones with those. So that's one faction. We've already looked at that guy, and then we'll move on to the next lot of things. So this one here is going to be like the one I released from League of Votann, but it's got a mixture. So keeping with the Games Workshop theme, I've got the Squat Prospectors, which are really, really nice models. I did a video about them a little while back when they first came out. I did an unboxing of them. I really like these models, and they painted up so well. Even with poor eyesight, they painted up well. So this is like one section of this league, or this faction, I should say. And I've got 8 of those so far painted. Then we go on to some more 3D printed stuff. I've got a lot more than this, but I just got no room to put it all out, and it's not all painted. Right, so I've got my heavy guys with Incinerators. These are from the bulk of my army, apart from the League of Votann stuff. This is from Patsikel's Miniatures. My good friend Mark Teig designed these. These are brilliant, and they are quite multi-part as well. I mean, the body on these is all one piece. The heads are separate, but there are variations on the model that allows you to print them out with different weapon options and different head options. I've got 3 of those. And then, excuse me, I've also got, you can tell this is a work in progress because still this guy's not got a head yet. The equivalent of a Pioneer. This is also from Popsicles. This is my Hearthguard Jet Trike, and I've got 3 of those. Again, these are multi-part kits, and they print really quickly and very easily. And this is my leader of this group. He's got the one with no helmet on. This one I'm going to actually put a female Iron King head on that. I think not Iron King, League of Votann head on that. Okay, so this is just a quick look at what I'm going to do with the Leagues of Votann box set. It's going to go to one-page rules, and what I'm going to do in a moment is I'm going to start the army process and show you how quickly it is to build up an army for one-page rules, and I'm going to quickly knock an army together on one-page rules. So if you bear with me, I'm just going to jump onto the PC. Okay, so as I mentioned a little while ago, most of this army from Leagues of Votann is going to appear in my Space Dwarf faction for one-page rules, and as such we'd like to find out where we get the rules from. Alright, so come into Google and search for one-page rules, and your first link that appears is going to be one-page rules. So click on the website, and here we've got the one-page rules main web page with an overview of the site. So they've got the news, you read through that, it tells you what's latest and what's up and coming. It also gives you all the updates that you might see on the Patreon page that aren't locked behind the paywall. The different games, so we've got Grimdark Future, which is their version of 40k, Grimdark Future Firefight, which is their version of Killzone. We've got Age of Fantasy, Age of Fantasy Skirmish, and Age of Fantasy Regiments, which are all equivalent to a fantasy version like Age of Sigmar. And then we've got Warfleets FTL, which is a space combat game, and then they've got one-off games as well, because there's like a few quick to play games as well. We've got miniatures, we've got physical, so you can actually buy them directly from one-page rules. They will put you in touch with people who will print them for you, or they'll print them themselves. We've got 3D print, which is the STL files that are printed sold over on the My Mini Factory page, and they're also available via the Patreon. And they've got 2D print, which is for all the cardstock counters that you can buy and from one-page rules, or you can get for free from one-page rules. So basically every time they do a physical miniature, they normally do a 2D representation of it as well. So if you've not got much room and you still want to play the games, you can play them using paper or card counters. There's the community. We've got Discord and comics. Missing from there is Facebook, but I think Facebook's at the bottom of the page. And then we've got Patreon, which is the one-page Patreon. So I'm going to quickly jump onto the Patreon, and we can have a look at the Patreon page, and you can see from there. Okay, so Patreon, I'm a member of quite a few Patreons, including one-page rules, and as you see here from one-page rules, got these excellent models coming up, like this big Sauron guy, which is really, really nice. So you got your latest posts, your 2 tier rewards, tier 1, which is £4 a month, and tier 2, which is £8 a month. And this is just basically a quick look at the stuff that's coming out in October. So we've got the final part of the Plague Demons, then we've got the first part of the Lust Demons. So they're basically Plague Demons are Nurgle, the Lust Demons are Slaanesh. We've finished off the War Demons, which are equivalent to Khorne, and we finished off the Change Demons, which are the equivalent to Sinch. And then we've got the Saurian Star Host. This is my second army. This is the one that I've got a huge stuff printed out for. And just a quick look at some of the things like this big War Demon. And all these are supported as well, and they're all designed to print on a regular size printer. So if you've got a Mars 2 or a Mars 3 or a Mars even, or a Photon, you shouldn't have any problems at all printing them. I've printed very large figures using my Mars 3 and can't wait to get a Saturn 2, then I can actually print even bigger. Plague Demons are really nice. And then the Lust Demons, the ones that are greyed out, let's see if we can get them bigger. Yeah, the ones that are greyed out are work in progress, so they've not been finished yet. They'll be revealed at a later time. And then we've got the Saurian Star Host ones as well. Okay, so that's a quick look at the Patreon. You know, pretty good stuff. Okay, right, so I'll just close that one down and we shall go back to the one-page rules. Okay, so quick overview of the website. We've seen it. There's one of the alien races, which is their version of the TOW, and then we've got at the bottom we've got Discord, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, and forum for one-page rules. We've got start here. If you click on that, it tells you what one-page rules is about, what they release every month, and how you can get started in their games. And there's also a few videos as well that, you know, like how you can actually use your miniatures from other games. You can use your miniatures from any games with one-page rules because it's a miniature agnostic game, so it doesn't really matter too much. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at Grimdark Future, which is the main game. As you click onto the page from that link, you get 3 PDF files. One is about 13 pages, one is about 4 pages, and then this one, which is the core rules, as you will see when I click on it, is a massive 2 pages. That's all it is. That's all you need to play the game, as well as the counters and some counters and something to represent your miniatures. That's all you need. Okay, so that's the rules in a nutshell. Each faction has its own army box, which we will look at now. Okay, so we click on the Grimdark Future, and this then takes us to the main page. So you've got your rule books with all the rule books which we've just seen. You've got the army books, which are balanced army books. You've got another set of armies which are just put up very quickly so they can test them out. You've got a starter kit, which has got paper miniatures, and you've got player tools, plus frequently asked questions, community translations, different languages and stuff, and a one-page rules wiki with strategy guides, unit pictures, lore, all that stuff. Right, all quite good. And then another link to the Patreon and how you can support them. So the Grimdark starter set, quite good. If you don't have much space, the paper stuff is brilliant. It really is. You can actually print it out quite cheaply as well. Okay, so what we're going to do for all intents, we're going to go to the army books. Right, so we'll go to the army books, and we've got all of our various army books here. So Alien Hives, Battle Brothers, Battle Sisters, all this stuff. Now these are all available to download by clicking on them. You click on the button, you can download it. But I'm not going to bother with that for the moment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the list builder. I haven't got it bookmarked, so I've just cheated. And we got the exact same thing here. This is the one-page rules Army Forge beta, which is a web app that allows you to print out your armies and create your armies. And this is what we're going to do for my Space Dwarves. Okay, so click on the link, and as you see here, we've got the cover of the Grimdark Future rules, Army Forge beta, create a new list, open a list. So we're going to create a new list. Right, and I'm going to select this system, which is Grimdark Future, and then we choose the army books. So as I said, we've got Alien Hives, which are Tyranids or aliens from Alien, as in Xenomorphs. Battle Brothers, which are Space Marines, or the Mobile Infantry from Starship Troopers. Battle Sisters, speak for themselves. Custodian Brothers, Dark Elf Raiders, Dwarf Guilds, which is the one that we're interested in. Elven Jesters, which is another faction I'm going to be using because my next army is going to be a Harlequin inspired army. Eternal Dynasty, which are Space Samurai. Feudal Guard, Havoc Brothers, High Elf Fleets, Human Defense Force, which are basically either Mobile Infantry from Starship Troopers, the movie, or Imperial Guard. Human Inquisition, Infected Colonies, Jackals, which are a race of dog-like creatures that one-page rules using instead of recruit. Machine Cult, like Adeptus Mechanicus. Orc Marauders, speak for themselves. Prime Brothers, Ratmen clans, so Space Rats. Rebel Guerrillas, Robot Legions, which is their version of the Necrons. Saurian Star Host, which are the Lizard Men with laser guns, which I really like. Snow Snatch Occults, Toe Coalition with Toe spelled with a zero, an art is sorry, Toe spelled TAO instead of TAU, Titan Lords, and Wormhole Demons. So you click on any of those and it takes you to the page. You can right click and save as. So what we're going to do is just going to click onto the Dwarf Guilds. Right, so you've got the Dwarf Guilds, you've got the list name, the points value, and then you just click create list. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change this to Mark's Wee Guys, and I'm going to put in 1,000 points as a list, like that. And then just going to quickly create a list. Now, 1,000 points is not very much, but it's enough to get a decent game in. Okay, so you can turn off the dark mode if you don't want it, but I prefer the dark mode on, and it also makes it easier for you guys to read as well. Okay, right, so you must take someone to lead your army, and you must take at least 2 core units. So I'm going to take a Dwarf Champion, so I double click on it, or just click on it, and it brings all the details up on this side here of what the Dwarf Champion is. And then we've got all his stats. So he's got a quality in one-page rules. Unlike a lot of other games, you only have a short number of qualities and still stats across your board. So you have a quality, which is your close combat ability and your melee, and it's also your how good you are at taking morale checks and all that kind of stuff. It's used for everything. And then you've got your defense, which is how tough you are and how much armor you've got on and that kind of thing. Those are the only 2 qualities that you've got in the game, and it speeds things up a lot. And then you've got 2 different kinds of weapons. You've got close combat weapons and rifled weapons or ranged weapons. And as you see here, we've got the first one is a close combat weapon. It's got a range of 0 because it's a hand-to-hand weapon. It's got an attack of A1, which means you roll 1 attack dice, and it's got an AP of nothing and a special of nothing. Whereas the rifle has got a range of 24 because it's a ranged weapon, and it's got an A1 for its attack. Right, so what we can do here is we can add this to my list, right? And then we've got all the options that we can do. So this guy is currently 35 points. To get him to replace one of his things, I need to click on something else to get him to replace it. So I'm going to give him a pistol instead of the default, and then I can come down and replace that pistol with a storm rifle, which is a heavy weapon. It's got a range 24, it's got 3 attacks, and it's -1 AP. So as you see, if I hold my mouse over it, it says targets get X -2 defense rolls when blocking hits. So if you've got a defense of let's say a def of 4, that means your def goes to 5, and then it's got A3, so it rolls 3 dice. So I'm replacing that, and then we come down here and I'm going to replace his armor with power armor. So you've got 50, so that now puts him on 115 points, and I'm going to upgrade him to be my guild lord, which now puts him on 140 points. So that's my first character. I'm going to get 2 units of these, like that. 1, and I can just duplicate that unit, but I'm just going to have another one. Right, so as you can see here, you can go like that and it says duplicate. So what I'm going to do is go to here and I'm going to replace the pistol like that with a heavy rifle. Right, so they're replaced with a heavy rifle. That now becomes 85 instead of 75 points, and I can also give them a hand-to-hand weapon, but I'm not going to bother doing that. And I'm going to do the same for this unit here. I'm going to replace the pistol. Don't forget to click the top button, or else you'll not be able to do anything, with a heavy rifle. Right, so that's my 2 units that are done. I'm on 310 out of 1,000 points, and then I'm going to add my heavy guys, the ones that were wearing the power armor with the flamers. Now the power suits don't have an option for a flamer, and as you see here, there is a 3 in parentheses after the word power suits. That means that there's 3 models in that unit, whereas in the Dwarf Warriors there's 5 models in that unit. So come to this one, I'm going to have this to my list. I've got 3 guys, and I'm going to equip them all with heavy fusion rifles instead of, because I don't have flamers, so I'll just put them with heavy fusion rifles. I just need to replace that. And replace that with heavy fusion rifle. Alright, actually, no, I can't do that. I'm going to have to do it this way. Right, so they've got storm rifles and heavy fusion rifles, which puts them on 600 points. And they're already in power armor, so the power suits. And if we look here, we've got the heavy hammers, which I don't really need because I can't take off that option. Although this is going to be expanded soon, so you can actually edit things. So the heavy hammers are attack 3 and they're -1 AP, whereas the heavy fusion rifle is range 18, attack 1. It's got an AP of 4, which is pretty nasty, and then it's deadly 6. Assign each wound to one model and multiply it by that number. Note that these wounds do not carry over to other models in that target. So basically, if you do 1 wound to somebody, you do 6. They are nasty, nasty weapons. Okay, so I've got 4 units with 3, 13, 14 models, and I've still got 600 points left. Now, my dwarf trikes are 110 points each. So I'll look at this and just gives me a quick preview of what I've got on my dwarf trikes. And they come in as ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my dwarf trikes. I'll have that, and I will give it a heavy fusion. Right, so it's got a heavy fusion cannon, which puts me on 735 points. I'm not going to bother having the APC for these guys. I'm going to come down and I'm going to have the dwarf walker. If I add that to my list, that takes me to 960 points, and I'm going to give him let's see, what can he have? I'll give him a twin. Let's have a look. No, I can't afford to give him that, so that'll put me over. So nope. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove him. I'm going to remove him from my unit. Right, I'm going to have the APC instead. So come to the APC here, like that. I'm going to add that to my list, and that's still too many points. My maths is so bad I can't reckon up. I'll tell you what, we've just had the dwarf walker instead. Oh, I didn't remove that dwarf walker, that's why. Or did I? Yes, I did. Yeah, I think I added the dwarf walker twice. Okay, so yes, I've added too many of the dwarf walkers. I've duplicated instead of removed it. Right, okay, I'm going to remove that as well. Remove that. So it's done 600 points now. I'm going to add the battle tank. Or no, I'll go for the APC. Right, so I have the APC to my list, and it's a transport, and I'm going to equip it with a storm rifle, and I'm also going to equip it with other weapons, so it's got 850 points, which then means that I've got 140 points left. So I'm going to duplicate that unit, so I'm now on 935 points, and I've got my army all finished. Right, so that's enough for that. I can go to view my army, which is by clicking the eye icon, and I can see this either as cards or as a table, depending on which way I want to do it. So as cards, it works out, I've got my APC, I've got my dwarf warriors, and I've got my suits, and I've got a total of 1, 4, and then 3 lots of dwarf warriors, so that's 19, 20 models in my unit altogether. And then all my special things here, so I got AP, ambush, battle law, deadly, fast move, hero, impact, lock on, slow, tough, and transport. Those are all my various things that I need to play, and then I can just print that out whichever way I want. print it out. So it's like that. So if I click on print, it shows me that version, the list version, or I can print as the table version, like that. So it gives me all the cards. But I'm not going to bother printing this out because this is only a quick test. And that's it. And you can save your army lists as well. You can download them as a Forge file if you've got the app, and you can export them as text, and you can edit the details on your list. So if I go to edit details on the list, it tells me that I can change my name, I can change the army if I wanted to, I can increase or decrease the points. I don't want to do that. I can go back to my unit now, and I can go say to my dwarf champion, and I can have this dwarf champion to join one of these units. So if I add him to this first unit, he now joins that unit and he's attached to it, as you can see by this icon. And I can put notes in here like that. And in true time honored fashion, I'm just going to give him his battle cry as come here from South Park. Okay, and then if I go back to view, and you can see here he's got come here. So that's just a quick look at one-page rules. It's free and it's very, very good. 40k has been stagnant for a very long time. It's not really evolved in the past 15-20 years. It's still the same rules, and it's overly bogged down with dozens and dozens and dozens of different books and the ways you play. I find it very tedious, and to be honest, I want to have a game where I can pick the models up, put them on the table, roll some dice, have some fun with my friends, and then go home, not be there 4 hours later waiting for my turn. So there you go. That's a quick look at one-page rules. I'm going to jump back onto the video now, and we'll talk a little bit more. Thank you. Okay, so this is well worth the money, especially what I paid for it. I got this from Mox in the Hall here in Edinburgh, and it was 20% off the retail price, which is a great saving. I'll leave a link down below where you can pick up your own copy. Also, there's quite a few folks doing the 20% discount on the box, but support your local game store if you can. Very good value for money. Am I going to use it for 40k? No. I'm not going to play 40k because I find 40k bogged down. I don't really think that 40k is the way forward. It causes too many arguments, too many rules lawyers, and don't get me wrong, I've played many games of 40k. I've spent many thousands of pounds on the stuff over the years. It's just not for me anymore. This looks like a very good book. If you do play 40k, this is quite a good faction, I would imagine. Looking at the rules, I mean, I've not played the latest version of 40k, so I don't know how Crusade works very well, although I've got the latest version of 40k. There's a bit of controversy over this already, that some of the tournaments in Germany and Canada have banned Leagues of Votann even before they came out, because the codex leaked online at the beginning of September. So, you know, there is that. Games Workshop have a habit of making poorly balanced games. They have done for many years. You buy the latest product is the best one. You buy the next product, it's better than the previous one. This happens time and time again with Games Workshop, and it seems not to have changed, despite the fact that Games Workshop is now this like all-encompassing, all-caring company, although I might beg to differ on certain aspects. Presentation, spot on. Artwork, spot on. Miniatures, amazing, you know, can't fault it at all. Layout, amazing. You pay good money, you get a good quality product. As I say, I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to use the stratagem cards because they're no use to me. They're most likely going to go to one of my friends who plays 40k. I'm going to use the models I was going to use the heads on my 3D prints, but my 3D prints are too small. So I tried one on the jet bike that I didn't have a head, and the 3D prints are too big, so they need to be scaled down to fit with the Games Workshop models. But that's neither here nor there. It's very easy to scale them down. I just need to knock them down by about 5%, and they should fit in fine. Other than that, good book. Nice. Looking forward to reading through the rules. Do like the fact that they are going away from the Norse and Viking thing with them, but I don't like that fact as well, because that's one of the things that first attracted me to Space Dwarves in the first place. But hopefully it's going to generate some interest with some players anyway. My own army is just going to carry on. I'm going to carry on building and printing it and painting it, and if I can get dwarves from any other company, I will do. I've got some Koshianku miniatures. I've got some Anvil Forge miniatures. I've also got miniatures from other Patreons that I'm going to put in with my Makangara. I'm going to put those in with my Space Dwarf army, and it's just going to look completely eclectic because it's got so many different figures in. Some have bigger scales than others, some are slightly smaller, but I'm going to have fun doing it because I've had fun so far painting up about a dozen units of models. So thank you for bearing with me and checking out this video. And remember, there's more to life than playing Games Workshop games. They may be nice to look at, but they're expensive. And for the price of your League of Votann Army box set, you know, I could build an army that's 4 times as big because I've got a 3D printer. Obviously, I've got the layout of the 3D printer, but I've already got that, so it's just a question of buying the resin and getting the files. Anyway, I digress. No matter where you are in the world, please stay safe, look after yourself, and thank you for tuning in. And if you've got them, roll them high.